90% of photographers will never sell a physical print of one of their photos. And it's not because they don't try. It's because they choose to take the hardest road possible to sell their work. And I know from my own experience because I chose this path. And later in my career, I realized I didn't have to make it this difficult to sell prints. See, most photographers want to be an artist. They idealize the lifestyle and the passion of the Stephen Shores, the Joel Meyerowitz, the Alex Webbs, with the goal to create the most loved and received work possible that stands the test of time. Sadly, most of us will never become this legendary artist. Modern camera technology, the internet, social media, it's just a different time if you're an artist with a camera. And I know that's really depressing to think about if you choose to see the glass as half empty. But if you choose to see the glass as half full, the internet provides you with a massive opportunity for you to sell everything that you're creating. And the best part, no one even has to know who you are. Big thank you to ShipStation for sponsoring today's video. Head over to shipstation.com/Evan to start a free 60-day trial. So looking back on my photo career, in 2014 and 15, I had possibly the most lucrative opportunity for me to actually make money as a creative business. But unfortunately, I made the mistake of trying so hard to be an artist. This is hands down the best quick tip I have for y'all in 2022, and that is if you are a photographer, stop trying so hard to be an artist, especially if your goal is to make money. You need to start thinking like a business and shift your mindset a little bit. You see, most people are so upset right now at Instagram and social media because they believe it is holding photographers back from marketing themselves. They believe they're never going to be able to sell prints, sell presets, or do anything with their career now because Instagram is not showing photos to people. So we have to call a spade here, and this is going to sound brutally honest, but it's the truth. Social media platforms are designed to keep people on their app. The algorithms show people what they want to see, what they find interesting. And if you are posting your creative work and people are not interacting with it, they're not engaging with it, they're not seeing it, you have to read that as people do not care about what I'm creating. Now, before you get butthurt and hung up on that last statement and get my comments all upset at me, hear me out. It might not be that people don't care about the things that you're creating. It might be that they don't care about you as an artist. There might not be an audience for all of your creative expression, but they might care about one or two particular things. I think we all know that on social media accounts, when you post a specific type of thing that you know is going to hit with your audience, you see more engagement. And that right there is the biggest problem that artists have when it comes to making money. They have a difficulty distinguishing between their artistic integrity and what they want to create versus what is going to do well as a business and what is going to serve a particular audience. You see, no business is going to be able to cater to everyone. I've actually worked at businesses before as a photographer that had this model, and it was a complete disaster. So if you're a photographer out there interested in making money with your creativity, you need to ask yourself this important question. Who is my audience? Who am I creating things for? Who is going to buy these prints that I create? You see, a business has to start from a place where it serves one specific group and serves them very well. Look at Nike, for example. Nike is a massive brand at this point, but Nike started with simply track shoes, and then they expanded to all the products that we know and love from them today. But they started with one basic shoe with one basic goal. And if you are a photographer out there interested in making money, you need to start distinguishing who you are as an artist versus who you are as a business and who you are serving and what that one thing you are going to do well is. And one of the beautiful things about selling prints to a particular audience and starting a creative business is you don't have to sacrifice your artistic integrity. You can be an artist on Instagram and post whatever you want, but you can also create a page or create a website around a creative business that serves one particular audience. Here's a good example of how you could reframe some of your thinking. You're an artist who occasionally posts photos of old vintage cars, and you realize that every time you post one of these old vintage car photos, you get higher engagement and more people seem to interact with your page. There's clearly an audience for this particular type of photography. So you create a separate Instagram dedicated only to vintage car photos. You also create a website dedicated only to selling prints of vintage car photos for people's homes, for people's garages, for people's office, anyone who is interested in these vintage car photos. So now you are going from an artist who occasionally creates photography around vintage cars to being that artist plus a business that serves the particular audience of people who are only interested in vintage car photos. Now you have the ability to target this particular audience with everything that you do on social media, your website, and with advertising. You see, in that example, people don't have to know who you are. They don't care. All they're interested in is owning this cool vintage car photo for their home. And you're removing the extra step of them having to actually buy into you as an artist, to subscribe to your page, to your website, where you're only occasionally sharing this one type of thing that they're interested in. They can just follow your business page. They don't care who you are, and they see vintage car photos every single day, which is what they want. You're finding your specific audience. And for a business to actually work, people need to understand what it is that you are providing. And that leads me to the massive mistake that I made in 2014 and 2015 when it came to my personal brand and me trying so hard to be an artist. But before we get into that, I want to thank the sponsor on today's video, ShipStation. So along with selling photo prints, I also sell my photo books on evanranf.com as well as my merch on 1826.com. And regardless of what you plan to sell online, you are going to run into the same problems as me. The biggest one being shipping. Years ago, I was spending so much time in lines at the post office, as well as handwriting every single address on orders that came in. That all changed when I found ShipStation. ShipStation makes processing orders quick and efficient with their easy to use and easy to learn user interface. And ShipStation is already trusted by over 100,000 e-commerce sellers, and they're now available in the UK, Australia, and Canada. ShipStation easily integrates with almost all website hosting platforms out there, including the platform that I've made multiple tutorials with on this YouTube channel. So whatever you want to use ShipStation for, whether it's your creative business or just avoiding all the problems that come with the post office, they're hooking up everyone on this channel with a 60-day free trial. Just go to shipstation.com/Evan, ship more in less time for a lot less money. That's a 60-day free trial at shipstation.com/Evan. So in 2014 and 2015, when I started growing my name as an artist and growing my brand on social media, I did everything right except one thing, and this one thing I got wrong left so much money on the table and could be a business that is still operating to this day had I done these steps. So my plan in 2014 and 15, my mission was to create Atlanta photography that was finally interesting. This mission got inspired by me going to a bookstore and seeing all the Atlanta books having boring photography. I was like, why is no one making Atlanta cool? The city was growing, people were very interested in the city at the time, and I wanted to do something fresh. So I had the mission, I had the inspiration for what I was trying to do, and I knew the audience that I was trying to attract to what I was trying to do was people interested in Atlanta, people who lived in the city, people who were going to school in the city, working in the city, participating in all the events, all the growth that was happening in the city. So from there, every action that I took had the intention of capturing the specific audience of people interested in this new perspective on Atlanta cityscape photography. So I was posting on social media frequently. I was networking with all the right people. I was going to events, trying to meet people in person, and my plan, it worked. I started to get recognition as an artist in Atlanta. I did something new, something that people had not done before, and I got recognized for it. The problem and the thing that I missed out on was capitalizing on the potential business in this audience that I was growing. You see, as an artist, eventually I got sick of doing Atlanta cityscape photography. Like all creative people do, that wave of inspiration wore off, and I moved on to things like street photography and YouTube, and that's where a lot of you found me in 2017. But back in 2014 and 15, all I needed to do was set up a website titled AtlantaPhotoPrints.com. And I needed to create an Instagram as well, where I could share the photos from Atlanta that might not have made it to my main feed. Or as an artist, when I stopped having that inspiration to do Atlanta cityscape photography, I could continue to post Atlanta city photos to this other account. And with this website, AtlantaPhotoPrints.com, the audience of people that I was building in Atlanta who was interested in this Atlanta cityscape photography could be served long after my creative inspiration as an artist wore off. People could still be buying photo prints from this website today. And they also, at the time that I was primarily posting a lot of Atlanta photos, could have bought a print every single time I posted an image. Think about how great of a business this would be. Every single time I shared an image to my Instagram as I was growing this brand, there was a caption at the bottom saying, link in bio if you want to buy a print. And someone could buy a print of every single image that I was creating. But I never did something like this because I was so much more interested in growing a persona as an artist, trying to keep my prints and my work limited than I was with actually creating a business that could potentially make a lot more money than I was capable of making as an artist. And like I said, if I had built this website and set up this business to sell prints early on when I was building that initial audience, I could still be serving that audience today. You see, it wouldn't matter that the photos were made by Evan Ranft or made by a particular artist. They're just photos of Atlanta for people who are on social media and on the internet looking for photos of Atlanta and potentially wanting prints of Atlanta for their home. And not to mention all the missed out opportunities when it comes to searchability. Anytime someone searches Atlanta photo print, they could potentially find my website, and all the e-commerce abilities that you have with running ads on social media as well as TikTok. I could have built an entire business around Atlanta specific photo prints serving an Atlanta specific audience. But I didn't because I was so worried about being an artist. But who knows, I might still do that idea here one day when I finally have the time for it. But if you want to steal it, by all means. And if you want to take that model and apply it to the city that you live in, the place that you live in, the thing that you're doing, I highly recommend it. Stop worrying so much about being an artist and focus on being a creative business if your goal is to make money. Maybe be an artist as a hobby and maybe be a business as a profession. And if you create something that serves a very specific group of people with prints of the photography that you're creating, you will make money and you'll be out of that 90% of photographers who never actually make a sale.